What's up, Warriors fan, and welcome back to Warriors Latest. As always, I am your host, Max Arizin. Big thanks to all you guys for liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell, as I do post new Warriors videos daily, and it does help the channel continue to grow as the season moves along. And also a big thank you to the sponsor for today's video, Underdog. Now, Underdog is a skills-based app where you can pick your favorite player to go either higher or lower in stats like points, steals, assists, and more. And if you get them right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash value. Now, if you sign up today using this QR code and you also using promo code BasketballFan, you could get an additional $75 worth of entries on your first $5 entry. Now, me personally, I've been on a bit of a hot streak going with the lowers on a lot of these games because I like to just do my research the matchup, and see if a certain player will go lower in like rebounds or steals or even assists. And I've been doing pretty well up until the last Warriors game. So now I'm taking my opportunity to reset and start a new streak going. So again, scan the QR code right here and use promo code BasketballFan for $75 in bonus entries on your first $5. Now, since I'm resetting with my streak after the Raptors Dubs game, because that was such a just trouncing of the Warriors without Jimmy, I want to look at different players that are just going to do better. Because this game, it was a good game, but it was a tough one to watch because the Raptors dominated from start to finish. And yeah, I understand that the rest of the players played good, but when your top point guard scores 40 points and matches his career high, it's going to be tough to beat that, especially off the bat when the team is also hitting, I believe it was over 60% from downtown. Like, you're not going to win a game where the opposing team is hitting 60% downtown. Now, there were a lot of things I did like in that game without Jimmy. Looking at the score sheet, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in double figures. And ironically, both the two players that for the Warriors that scored in their 20s came off the bench in Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield. So I'll take that win. And you got to, for this game, I'm going to look at the silver linings because this was such a bad blowout. Now, they did bring it to within 14 at one point, but it was never going to be close. They ended up losing by 18. So it was just tough to watch. But again, this could have been a lot worse, and it was good silver lining that things didn't get overly out of hand. It didn't end up being a 30, 40-point game without Jimmy because Steph can't do it all. And that's just a fact. And now that Jimmy's gone and pretty much I want to say his Warriors career may be over, we have to look to other players to really step up and be those guys moving forward, those reliable guys, those next man up kind of guys. Now, mind you, we look at the Mavericks game as the next game on the road. That's going to be a real test. But you also have to take into account that along with Emmanuel Quickley's 40 points, Scotty Barnes had 26 and Brandon Ingram had 22. So it wasn't entirely the Warriors' fault that they lost, but you know what? They could have done better. They could have given more minutes to, say, Pat Spencer. Draymond, he could have done better from the field, but I did like that Quentin Post was able to get into the double digits, but he also needs to get some more minutes just overall, because him not getting more than 20 minutes is starting to get on my nerves because he is a big guy. Though I did notice when watching the game last night before I fell asleep that it really is true what Steph has been saying regarding like post players, pun intended. But a lot of the time I'm watching the offense go around, especially during the Raptors game, and it's 5 guys in the corner, and there's nobody on the block anywhere near the post. And I think just moving forward, that's something that needs to be addressed. Whether it's Al Horford, Quentin Post, a new acquisition, they gotta have somebody who's there to get an offensive rebound. They can't rely on guys following the shot and then grabbing the quick offensive rebound. They need a guy who's right there that they can dish it down to and really be effective with their back to the basket. Because that was easily the most noticeable thing, and that's something that Steph had brought up on multiple occasions regarding how the offense is run. So I do want to see them make some moves to get another big guy. I don't know if that's going to happen sooner rather than later, but I do predict it will happen in the coming weeks. But also speaking on the game last night, we have to talk about Jonathan Kuminga's real shining after over, what was it, 16 games off where he didn't play. And that is easily one of the highlights of this game. He came off the bench, scored 20 points in 21 minutes, and went 7 for 10 from the field. That's exactly what you need when you call upon your guy that's just not been playing a lot and really has just been butting heads with the coach because they can't figure out a way to work together. And honestly, that was the best highlight of the night because, again, Kuminga is the centerpiece of this team right now because he is their secondary scorer. He is their primary guy that they go to, the guy they expect to be that, or well, they expected to be that secondary scorer when they drafted him over Franz Wagner. And moments like this are when he shows his flashes of brilliance. I mean, scoring 20 points in 21 minutes, that's hard to come by in this day and age, especially after taking multiple games and sitting on the bench and not getting any playing time. So he was ready to go, and I love it. And I want to see how this will play out over the coming weeks because this could go either real well or real bad. Now, yes, Kuminga could have a bunch of good games. They could decide to keep him. Or Kuminga could have a bunch of good games and they decide to trade him because his value just skyrocketed over the last few weeks. If I remember correctly, the Knicks did the same thing with Timothy Mozgov before the Carmelo Anthony trade to sort of finalize that deal. So I want to see how this really does play out in the short and in the long term. Now, fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just choose whether your player will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Today on Underdog, I am looking at the Knicks-Nets game and selecting Karl Anthony Towns to go higher in the statistic of points plus rebounds and assists, and then choosing Cam Thomas to go lower than his projected 16.5 points. Download the app today and use promo code BasketballFan to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code BasketballFan. Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/play and get terms DFSTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 helpline at 1-878 or text HOMI 467-369.
Now, as I said before, Kuminga gives the Warriors a real puncher's chance. Now, I personally thought when I saw Jimmy's injury, and I'm like, oh no, this may be an MCL strain. I felt the wind coming out of my sails, and it was just like, I want to say it's like if you've ever watched the extended edition of Lord of the Rings: Two Towers with actors commentary, what's his name? The guy who plays Sauron talks about what is his name? The guy who plays Sauron talks about getting stabbed and how it's like it's like the breath coming out of you. That's exactly what it felt like because you just saw the world just crumble beneath you when it comes to the Warriors championship aspirations, and it was just tough. But this game from Kuminga gives the Warriors a punching chance, and I'm like, you know what? Regardless of what happens in the coming weeks, Kuminga is going to get his due. He's either going to get great playing time and become the star he's always meant to be with the Warriors, or he's going to get traded to a place where he's going to just continue to flourish as the player he is born to be. Because, you know what? The Warriors need to do something. It was the guy I was thinking of was Saruman. Excuse me. Anyway, but the Warriors need to do something. And it was they just, I don't know how to describe it. They need to really find a way to continue that rhythm, especially after a 6-2 homestand. And I believe Kuminga is going to be the guy that helps them do that. Now, they do face the Mavericks in their next game on Thursday, so they do have their work cut out for them. Now, the Mavericks are without Anthony Davis. It's pretty much just the Cooper Flag show, so we're going to see how Kuminga does on playing the young star in Cooper Flag. And I'm really curious to see. Now, it was a bit different on Christmas Day. They were playing at home. Anthony Davis was playing, and they were able to get the job done. But now Anthony Davis isn't playing. Jimmy Butler is out, and it's not looking good. But I will take the win. Oh, and Saruman actor was Christopher Lee. Excuse me. But it is something that the Warriors need to continue this momentum and continue to get better. Now, if they win against the Mavericks, I think, all right, there's something there. Maybe they start doing these team dinners again to really bring the team together, especially after this Jimmy injury. Because, like I said, I think with Kuminga, they're going to do well, but he might be a prime trade piece. As I said before, I still think there is the possibility the Warriors trade Jimmy along with probably Kuminga for LeBron James. Now, that is a bit far-fetched, but when you really think about it, and I'm talking just abstract think about it, I'm talking just completely objective. Now, as I said, the Lakers, their goal is summer of 2027 when a ton of players like Nikolai, like Joker, like Giannis, can potentially become free agents. So they want as much cap space as possible. Now, if the Lakers say push back, since LeBron is an expiring contract, he's going to become a free agent, and they're going to have a ton of cap space this offseason. And if they push back that cap space from this summer to next summer with a Jimmy trade while also doing right by LeBron, I feel that that would help the Lakers look more attractive as a free agent destination, as they're doing right by one of their star players, trading him to a place where they're really going championship or bust, while the Lakers are just looking to be a competitive playoff team. They're really playoff contenders right now. They're not so much championship contenders, but they want to continue to stay competitive instead of bottoming out and being a play-in team. So I do see that as an opportunity. Plus, they also get a young, great slashing forward in Jonathan Kuminga that they can develop on their own and continue to keep. And then next thing you know, he becomes an expiring contract as well going into the summer of 2027. So that's how I see the logic. There are going to be some filler pieces in there and maybe a protected draft pick from the Warriors, which I think will entice the Lakers to make this deal. Say if it's a top 20 protected pick, and if it's not top 20, it doesn't convey. I see that as an opportunity for the Warriors to get a great player. And we all remember how great Steph and LeBron were playing next to each other on Team USA back in Paris during the Olympics. So, I think the people want to see LeBron and Steph play together and see the magic that they can create. And I think the Lakers just want to move past the LeBron era while also bringing in a guy who can really toughen up that team in Jimmy Butler. And yes, we're probably not going to see him until maybe at the latest next January, but his presence will be felt in that locker room. And I think that's exactly what the Lakers need too. And with Jonathan Kuminga going with him, okay, you know what? That also entices the Lakers to make this deal. And I think Rich Paul, LeBron will approve this trade as well. And you know what? Warriors right back on track. Lakers on a better track to their destination of where they're going in the summer of 2027. So I do see this as a puncher's chance, all thanks to Jonathan Kuminga. But the bottom line is the next few weeks, again, are going to decide the Warriors season, whether it's going to be boom or bust. If they start this huge losing streak, starting with the Mavericks, it's going to be complete bust. But if they keep this momentum going, there's no telling what the Warriors are going to do with the deadline. And there's honestly no telling what they could potentially do in the playoffs. So I am honestly excited to see these games coming up, even without Jimmy Butler. But it's either boom or bust, and we'll see what happens. Now, that's all we have today for Warriors Latest. As always, a big thanks to you guys for liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. And if you have any other trade ideas involving Jimmy and Jonathan Kuminga that would help the Warriors get better outside of a potential LeBron trade, or even a comparable LeBron trade, feel free to comment below, as I love hearing your ideas. And as always, a big thanks to our sponsor, Underdog. Don't forget to scan the QR code, and go Dubs.